Welcome to Intuitive Transformations with your host, Sylvia Henderson, and discover tools, wisdom, and inspiration that will empower you to transform your life. Sylvia is an intuitive life coach and energy healer with a growing practice that is focused on empowering others to be more of who they want to be. For the next hour, join Sylvia and explore and unravel anything in the way of you creating the life that you would love to live on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to the Intuitive Transformations radio show, where you will find tools that you can use to change and transform your life right here on the OMTimes radio network, the voice of consciousness at OMTimes.com. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I am an intuitive, and I'm an energy healer as well. And I know energy healer is kind of a very broad phrase or term or title, so to speak. But my body of work really focuses on restoring the connection between you and your soul's inner light, allowing you to access unconditional love for yourself with much greater ease. The processes I use are pretty unique to me, but they're very effective. And if you would like to learn more about me and the work that I do, then please feel free to visit my website at intuitivetransformations.net. That's intuitivetransformations with an S.net. So for those of you who have joined Belinda Womack and myself for our Awaken Your Inner Alchemist group calls.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
So Sher, we're live. So hi, everyone. This is Sylvia Henderson on the Intuitive Transformations radio show again. We had a little bit of a technical glitch and I got dropped. I'm not sure where I got dropped at, but I do want to just talk a little bit more about Awaken Your Inner Alchemist. Here's what I'll do. Just go to my website, intuitivetransformations.net. That's intuitivetransformations.net. You can go, follow the link. You'll find everything you need to know about Awaken Your Inner Alchemist. And the next one is in October. So Belinda and I are co-facilitating a brand new healing group called Healing for the Sensitive Soul on the OMTimes Experts platform. Now, this is super exciting because OMTimes has created a whole classroom of who they have deemed to be experts in their fields. And this is going to happen for Belinda and I. We're launching a class called Healing for the Sensitive Soul. And our first class, I believe, is going to be on Wednesday, September 28th. And it's happening at 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern. And so that's just about exactly 30 days from today, because today is August 28th. And we really do hope that you'll be able to join us there. Let's see, that is a little bit different than Awaken Your Inner Alchemist. Awaken Your Inner Alchemist is all about turning the lead of your life into gold, whereas Healing for the Sensitive Soul is really for those who are empaths, highly sensitive personalities, and those that are caregivers, those that overcare a little bit too much, have a hard time saying no. So if that sounds like you, then this is going to be a great opportunity for you to participate in the healing energy of the 12 archangels, as well as the fifth dimensional beings of light. So, this is so exciting. There is something else I want to tell you about the OMTimes Expert platform that is really important, and that is, it's not just this great group of experts that are specialists in their fields, but 50% of every dollar that you spend on a class goes directly to humanity healing. And Humanity Healing is this beautiful, heart-centered nonprofit that rescues albino children in Africa and keeps them safe from witch doctors who actually use their body parts in rituals. And I've seen some of the photos of these beautiful children, and it really is heartbreaking to see what they have endured and in some cases have not survived. So I invite you to help shift consciousness on a very grand scale by either signing up for a class with Belinda and myself or sign up with any of the other truly talented OMTimes experts that are offering classes. So if you want to know how to do that, here's where you need to go. This is not on my website yet, but I will be putting it up there. To register for any of the OMTimes experts courses or classes or healings, go to OMTimes.experts with an S at the end.com. So it's OMTimes.experts, and that's plural.com. And you can find just about anything from angel healing to past life research to, like my class, Healing for the Sensitive Soul, or how to connect with your own inner guidance. There's just a very wide array of classes for you to choose from, and they're taught all by OMTimes experts, so you can't go wrong there. And very, very reasonable as well. I think probably the most expensive class I saw there might have been $80, but honestly, they're very inexpensive. So this is really about all of us together raising our vibration, and as we do that on an individual basis, knowing that we are also raising the vibration of the collective consciousness on the planet. And because if you're participating in any of the classes that are being taught by OMTimes experts, then you're also really helping to protect these beautiful, sweet, innocent children from a very tragic and horrific situation. So I really do hope that you will visit the website. Again, it's experts.omtimes.com. And we would just love to have you there and join us. So I'm really thrilled to be here again today on another beautiful Sunday evening with another beautiful opportunity to change and transform together. And I hope that each one of you listening, whether you're listening live or via the podcast, know what an honor it is for me to be able to share from my heart with you. I have such a strong desire to positively influence consciousness on the planet, individually, and the collective consciousness of mankind so that we can all awaken to the truth that there is only one true vibration, and that is the vibration of unconditional love. And I do hope that those of you who listen to me regularly have appreciated as much as I have the wonderful authors and healers and teachers that I've had an opportunity to have here on the show and to share with you. I really do try to select guests for my show based upon their wisdom and their integrity and their message. And tonight's show, I promise you, is no different. Tonight's show is in total alignment and agreement with my intention of only sharing wisdom and integrity, because how else are we going to really truly be able to change and transform our lives? So I have to say that my guest today shares the intention of wisdom and integrity in her work as well as in her business endeavor. And she and I share quite a few other similarities as well. And I know that we'll be going into a break in just a moment. And when we return for the break, I'm going to introduce to you my very special guest. Until then, it's going to be a surprise. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Well, we're back, everyone. Hello. This is Sylvia Henderson with the Intuitive Transformations radio show on OMTimes.com. And right before we went into the break, I was just beginning to talk about my very special guest who is joining me here today. Her name is Sher Safran. And there's something that she and I share that goes beyond a very high intention of always speaking with wisdom, always coming from a heart space of integrity. We also both live very close to each other. She lives in Kirkland, Washington, and so do I. And we both have hosted our own spiritually focused radio show, individual radio shows on a station in Seattle, Washington area called KKNW. And Thank you. And we both understand the story of the walking wounded. And you'll see what I mean by that in just a minute after I bring her on. And you might be wondering, well, what is this about the walking wounded? Well, you'll find out more in just a minute. So let me introduce you to Sher, who is just lovely. Her name is Sher Safran, and she is the CEO of Share Wisdom TV, which is a brand new live interactive online TV network that allows guests to actually interact with the host and vice versa. So it's really kind of a cool setup. Today's show is about addressing how life is sometimes, a little bit overwhelming due to disappointments or sudden unplanned changes in our lives or old betrayals or traumas from the past. And what do we do when we're faced with overwhelming situations and circumstances, and some of which may have even occurred in early childhood? And so we're going to talk a little bit about Share Wisdom TV. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and as well as how that relates with the story of the walking wounded. So Sher and I are going to share an organic conversation about how to transform the journey from walking wounded into the journey of wholeness and restoration. And we're going to talk about her brand new baby, Share Wisdom TV, as I alluded to already, and the technology involved in that. And so let me tell you a little bit about her. Sher is the founder and CEO of the Share Wisdom Network, which is an online network of live interactive TV shows featuring people of wisdom. She lived in India from the ages of 8 to 18 while her parents served as medical missionaries. While attending school in South India with her two other sisters, Sher soon realized that our rich human diversity enhances our deep spiritual oneness. After graduating college in Portland, Oregon, Sher earned her Master of Divinity and served 16 years as a Presbyterian minister in San Rafael, California, and also in Nairobi, Kenya. While living and working in Kenya with her beloved preteen daughter, Jen, and son, Mike, Sher unexpectedly met and quickly adopted her third precious child, Jordan. Upon returning to the U.S. in the year 2000, Sher stepped out of organized religion and became the director of international adoption for a nonprofit adoption agency in Maryland. And then, embarking on a deep spiritual journey, she moved to Seattle and stumbled across her true passion, which is multimedia. Sher founded Satori 7 Productions, a full-service video production company, and for a decade envisioned producing a TV show to feature the remarkably gifted intuitives, energy healers, mediums, astrologers, and so many others who have helped her on her own personal journey. After marrying her soulmate, Rob, in 2008, Sher and Rob worked together to manifest this beautiful vision of Sher Wisdom TV. She is now the host of her own TV show, A Deeper Journey, which airs on the online network. And Sher Wisdom TV streams live TV shows hosted by people of wisdom almost every day now. To learn more about Sher Safran, please visit her online website at sherwisdom.tv. So hello, Sher, and welcome to the show, my dear.
Wow, Sylvia, thank you so much. What a lovely introduction.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, yeah. I tried to cover all the bases there.
You did indeed.
Yeah.
It's a delight to be on your show, Sylvia.
Oh, it's a delight to have you. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I tell you, everyone, if you're listening, you want to stay tuned because you're going to learn a bunch. So, Sher, as you know, I typically interview exactly where the conversation is going to go and the questions that I'm going to ask. So today is going to be really fun and exciting because I feel like you and I will get to really be playful a little bit and relax a little bit and just really share organically, exactly what needs to be heard by whomever is listening to the show today or via podcast later or even on YouTube or on YouTube as well. So with that said, I want to talk about the concept of the walking wounded before we get into Sher Wisdom TV. And you and I collaborated on this title, right?
Yes. Yes. You were great. You said, so what do we talk about?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just curious, what is your definition of the walking wounded? I have mine, but what is yours?
Well, actually, what inspired that idea was that I was influenced by Henry Nouwen's book, The Wounded Healer. And in that book, he talked about how we use our own wounds that we work to heal in order to be able to also heal other people. It used to be that you needed to be, or when I was being raised, the idea was be as good and well and positive as you can, and then you can help other people. But the idea is really to be what you're saying today. Let's be organic. Let's be authentic. Let's be let it flow just like life does. And that's what I see. We're all in some degree wounded. And to keep moving forward with that, even though we are wounded, we keep moving forward and do what we can to heal ourselves and also to heal others in our midst.
Yeah, I love that definition. I love how you explain that. And you really did hit the nail on the head is, especially being the wounded healer, which many healers, many light workers right now, they're feeling like they fall squarely in that category. But then also those who haven't considered that maybe they're healers going through challenges and traumas and living or reliving the aftermath of old traumas past that are still reverberating in their lives. And when you touched on how important it is that we heal our own wounds, because really, how can we heal another if we haven't gone there ourselves? In many ways, it makes us a way shower, in a sense. It's I healed my wounds, so maybe what I learned from that experience, I can now share with you. and I can give that to you as a result, which is really beautiful, isn't it?
It is, and when we recognize that we have our own wounds, that creates a sense of compassion when we come across other people who may have a different kind of wound or something that even ordinarily we wouldn't be able to understand, but we can certainly understand that place of being wounded. And so we can be there for people in a way that otherwise we wouldn't be connected.
And I love how you just used the word compassion, because there's been so much literature and even music about the world needing love. And that's true, but really love is always there. It's never been an absence of it, but it's that compassion that allows you to step into the energy of love. And really what I feel the world needs more now than anything is the energy and the vibration of compassion, because love has so many different definitions for people. Some people look at love as, well, if I love someone, that means I have to worry about them. Or for some people, love might mean that, gosh, I'm afraid to love because if I love something too much, I might lose it. So love doesn't just have these positive attributes or meanings on a personal level for everyone. And you can recognize what your definition of love is when you look at the relationships in your life that you call love relationships. What is the real story? What is your story, your definition of love? But the thing about compassion is that it might be individually activated or be expressed differently, but everyone seems to understand the vibration of compassion, don't you think?
I do. I think when it's almost love in action. So that calm and passion, you have a passion for someone, and the COM for me is like moving toward. And it might be just sending out the love and energy, and we certainly have the science behind the impact that has. Simply expressing compassion around the world changes people. And it changes us, too, when we let that energy out. It's love with action in a way.
It actually, I love how you say that. It is love in action. And it's something that, as you've already pointed out, it's almost impossible to step into that unless you've had a similar experience that you've been able to overcome. So you can look at someone with compassion because you can say, I've been there, and that love is really allowing and accepting. It's not necessarily the doing that, Hallmark card commercials would like to think that that's what love is. Those are expressions of love. But what true, authentic, unconditional love is really that allowing, that accepting someone where they are in a way that's compassionate, but not in a way that is where you're feeling sorry. It's more, I understand, and I have the compassion enough to not just understand and the love there to know that you too will be able to move through this.
Very different from pity, which is what you were just mentioning. It's very different from feeling sorry for someone or pitying them, because I think that creates that image that they are weak and they don't have what they need to move forward. I think we all do. But the compassion is that recognition that, yes, you have what you need and I'm sending you my energy along. But wouldn't you say that, I think you and I both have experience that our own compassion toward ourselves is sometimes more difficult than compassion towards someone else. Would you agree?
Yes, 110% I agree with you on that, Cher. And when we return, you'll have more conversation about the vibrational energy of compassion, love, walking wounded, and how to move through that journey. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me the Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Buffett. How would you like to meet an endangered manatee? You can by joining Save the Manatee Club's Adopt the Manatee program. You can't take them home, but you can get to know your new manatee friend through the photo, biography, and information the club sends to you. And you can read updates on your manatee in the club newsletter. More importantly, your contribution goes to programs that are working to save manatees from extinction. It's easy to help. Call 1-800-432-JOIN.
And we're back. You're listening to Intuitive Transformations on OMTimes.com. This is Sylvia Henderson with my guest, Sher Safran. Sorry, Sher. It's all those S's. Sylvia, Sher, Safran.
Yes, it is.
I want to ask this for me. Before we went to the break, we were talking about, you just started to touch on the value and importance of self-compassion. Can you continue that conversation a little further? Because you definitely hit the nail on the head with that.
I do think that one of the reasons that we have so much difficulty in our lives is our low self-esteem. So if we don't believe that we are as brilliant and wonderful and loving as I believe the universe sees us, then we are walking with less than what we really have. And when we're walking with less than what we really have in terms of low self-esteem, we then we're judging ourselves more often than we might even be judging others. And I do think that when we fill ourselves up and can say, oh, I totally love you, Cher, I totally love you, Sylvia, you'd say to yourself, I feel compassion for you when you make mistakes. I feel compassion for you as you reach out to others. When we can do that to ourselves, then it becomes a much easier flow to feel compassion rather than judgment toward anyone else.
I completely agree. I mean, the power of self-compassion to me is even much more transformative than the compassion that people share for others, although that is, to me, the compassion you share with others is very transformative because it works out there in the world. It's an expression out there in the world. It is still up to that individual receiving the compassion whether or not they choose to actually receive it and integrate it within them, because some people may have been so starved for compassion that when they receive it, it's uncomfortable. You know, they kind of want to push it away. But there is so much truth to, I think of an old Bible verse, love your neighbor as you love yourself, with the emphasis on if you can't love yourself, it's really challenging to truly love your neighbor. And that loving yourself is that self-compassion, letting go of the judgments that you've been taught to hold over your head as if you're a mistake or you've done it wrong. There are no accidents in the universe. Everything is by perfect design and order. And you might be thinking, Sylvia, you don't understand. I'm in a financially challenged situation because of mistakes I made, I should blame myself for making those mistakes. Or because of what I did, my child was sick longer, or because of what I did, I missed out on a connection with someone or an opportunity. And we hold ourselves hostage, really, our energy, our ability to move forward, our ability to expand, when we can't give ourselves compassion. Don't you think, Sher?
I love your word hostage. I mean, it's such a painful word, but it's so, that's just a perfect image that when we're holding ourselves in like that, and that's when compassion draws us out, right? But when we don't have the compassion, that hostage is just a fantastic image. And so many of us are walking around just like we're in straitjackets or something, and wanting desperately to break free, but not really knowing how. I have to say, and I'm going to tell your listeners that I had a healing session with you that did exactly that. I mean, and honestly, I promise listeners, Sylvia did not know I was going to say this because really, Sylvia, you are a gift. You are a gifted healer. And that session, I was telling you before the show, I still feel the vibration from it, and it's been many weeks now. And so when we do feel like we're stuck, like we are being held hostage, when we can go to someone like you who has integrity, who has a real genuine compassion and a gift for healing, that can begin that unfolding. It's certainly something I experienced all my life, was finding people who had this incredible gift of healing, and emotional, physical, even intellectual healing. So I thank you for the work that you do in the world, Sylvia, and for the work that you've done with me.
Oh, well, thank you. It was my pleasure. And, my whole motto is I'm here to serve. This is what brings me the most joy, and I really appreciate your very gracious words, because those are the things that keep me going and keep me inspired to know that, I'm really making a difference in the lives of others. And so I so value and appreciate that feedback. Thank you so much. So when we're thinking about self-compassion, do you mind if I share with the listeners a few things that I think that they can start to do for themselves? And maybe you might be able to share one of your favorite tools that help you come back to yourself and focus on loving yourself instead of letting the critical parent go rampant. Well, I have to tell you, I am a huge fan of either saying mantras or meditation, because that really helps to pull your energy back in. But if you're in the midst of one of those, I have to beat up on myself. I'm so upset with myself. There's something about the energy when it gets to be that intense that the more you fight against it, the more it fights against you. And so I'll be honest, there have been times when I have just let myself cry that out, so to speak, because for me, that's how I release energy, stuck energy the best is through my tears. I always tell my clients, if we've hit water, then I know that we've struck gold. So when we're digging through the sessions, but there is something about allowing the energy of your emotions to move, because those are emotions. The reason it's become so intense is because they're called trapped emotions. They've been pretty much walled off within your heart. And so, you might have, emotions of anger come up, or of fear come up, and anxiety come up, or grief, or even regret. And, we're taught to run from those emotions and distract ourselves away from it, eat something, watch TV, go on a jog, work on a project. That's really not the best way to resolve those, because wherever you go, those emotions are going right with you. So I think that really, honestly, allowing those emotions to come up and through you and be expressed. If you're not a big emoter like I am, and you're not one who enjoys crying, it's not that I enjoy crying, but who's willing to go with it, then, in your time of meditation, as you're following your breath, as an emotion comes up and rears up its head, and you start to feel an energy of anger or fear or regret or whatever it is, or especially the regret where you're being critical of yourself or angry at yourself, begin to ask it what it needs. It sounds really odd, but when you stop an emotion for a moment, instead of trying to push against it, just say, hey, okay, what are you? And it might say, well, I'm fear, or I'm angry at you, or I'm angry at myself, or this is the self-hate popping up. And you can say to it, okay, self-hate, what do you want me to know? And believe it or not, something will come up. And sometimes it's just, I just wanted to be heard. And it will pop. It's so magical. It just easily and effortlessly pops. And that's something that you can absolutely use in your own personal life. So, Sher, what about you? Do you have a favorite tool that you like to use?
Well, in fact, I'm remembering, and I swear I'm not your shill to sell you, but girl, you did a terrific job doing a demo show for our network. And I still remember one of your lines, which was about belief. And you were talking about how, when an emotion comes up, one of the questions is, what am I believing that is creating the feeling that I'm having right now? And you explore what the belief is. So when something happens to us, our first reaction might be a real genuine response, but then there's usually some story or some belief that then compounds whatever that experience is, and it can make it turn it into suffering. What may be pain becomes suffering because of what our belief is. And so I do think that asking, that's wonderful to say, what are you wanting to tell me to an emotion, and let it be heard, and then to ask, and what belief am I carrying that creates this in me?
Yeah, I like to say, what is it that I must believe in order to have this experience?
That's it.
And it's interesting because we are mostly consciousness. And what is consciousness? It's awareness, but it's also a resource of Q&A, because that's really what we do in our heads all the time. We're constantly asking questions and giving ourselves answers. And so when you ask the question from a broader point of view of asking that energy specifically, or, okay, so what within my subconscious mind must I believe to be true in order to be experiencing what I'm experiencing in this moment? Gosh darn it, I tell you, you will get the answer, and it'll blow you away. It's like, oh my gosh. Sometimes it comes immediately. Sometimes it comes the next day, but you will always get it. And it might even be next week, but you will always get the answer. We live in an ask and receive reality, and it's all about the asking. It's not about concluding. It's not about saying what we believe to be true is true from our perspective and our history of experiences. It really is about remaining curious and just asking the right questions.
Curious is great, to just say, well, this is interesting. This is interesting that I'm having this reaction, as opposed to why am I doing this? What is going on? And that judgment that often comes up when we're having a genuine emotion, but just, wow, this is really interesting.
Exactly. It changes everything because it takes you out of it, so you're not so consumed and frozen and too busy trying to figure out what's going on here. So, this is how Sher and I have just a couple of tools that Sher and I have used when it comes to us finding self-compassion for ourselves, or moving through that feeling of being wounded by, either an experience or someone or just a thought that courses through your mind. So I know that we're going to be going into a break very soon, but when we return, we're going to talk all about Share Wisdom TV and Sher and Rob's exciting new venture about spreading more wisdom on the planet. So please stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few moments for more of Intuitive Transformations Radio.
conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And we are back, everyone. This is Sylvia Henderson with Sher Safran. And Sher, let's talk about Sher Wisdom TV. I love how your name is Sher, and the beginning of your network is also Sher, just spelled completely different.
But different spelling, different meaning.
Different spelling and different meaning. So tell everyone about your journey of creating Sher Wisdom TV. What is Sher Wisdom TV, and what was the idea that started it off for you?
Sher Wisdom TV is a network online, very similar to OMTimes, which, by the way, I love OMTimes. You guys are just fantastic. I love your show, the magazine, everything. So just kudos to everybody there at OMTimes. The network is a TV network online, and it was something I always knew that what I was supposed to do was supposed to be visible. And I did have a radio show on KKNW called Sage, because with three other sages, I was the host, and we had three sages who came on with me, and it was a call-in show, and we always had more callers than we could take in the hour. So I knew that there was hunger out there for this opportunity to share wisdom and get insight for people's lives. But when I realized it needed to be visible, I realized I needed to learn how to do it. So I took crash courses in video production and learned how to do camera, lights, sound, and editing, and had the opportunity to work with a variety of people doing different projects, but I always had this idea of a show where I could feature the people who had been in my life, really changing my life using their gifts. As you mentioned, intuitives and astrologers and energy healers and life coaches, all these different people who at the time really were on the fringe of society. They weren't being taken seriously. Many of them were very afraid to let their friends and relatives know that they had the gifts that they had. And I kept thinking, no. These gifts are something we all have to some degree, and we need these people to be out in front. So I woke up in the middle of the night one night and just had this show kind of downloaded to me, and it was called Sage, Spirit, Angels, and Guides Entertainment. And so I've had this image of taking this show that we actually had on the radio to TV. And in the meantime, met my husband, Rob, who happened to be an entrepreneur himself, loved production, was an IT guru, and we started working together, and just last year realized that the technology had changed enough that we could, in fact, bring this TV show idea to the Internet. But not just a show. We realized we could create a network so that instead of just having one show to feature these different sages, we could have these sages have their own TV shows. So It's been now 2 months. We did a soft launch 2 months ago, and thanks to you and to a few other wonderful people of wisdom who did demo shows for us so that we could test out the technology and everything, we realized, wow, this really is possible. So we have a website now, and we have already a number of shows on demand. And we have 3 hosts who have been from the beginning. I'm one of them with The Deeper Journey, and we have a psychic named Mary Lee McRoberts, who is a very successful businesswoman who now has her own show called Clear Direction, and people can call in and get her intuitive readings. And Marianne Marlowe, who is a psychotherapist and a relationship expert, and she has a show. So we've been testing the waters with these 3 shows, getting all the fine-tuning of the technology, and as you all well know, and we well know, technology has its challenges. And now we are ready to, in a few weeks, to do a hard launch and start bringing in new hosts and new shows, and we're just super excited. And the whole purpose of this is to reach around the world and not just have the host give answers, but to have the audience be able to video call in and be a part of the conversations. We're real excited about that opportunity so that it's a conversation and not just giving wisdom, but it's sharing wisdom. So we're really excited about it.
I love that because it's expanding a virtual community just like OMTimes. So
exactly.
I think that's just absolutely beautiful. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, because we really are, you know, what's lovely is how technology is caught up with reality. We're all energetically connected no matter where you are around the planet. Prayer works, right? You could be in Hawaii or Australia and pray for someone and they'll have the effect, or send them Reiki energy and they'll have a positive effect. It's great that now we are starting to see how we're connected with Wi-Fi and now connected with things like OMTimes as well as now Share Wisdom TV. So the website is actually sharewisdom.tv. Is that correct?
It is, SHARE, wisdom.tv. And like OMTimes, the hosts can be anywhere. Like I know you have hosts all over the country and probably all over the world. And we do too. We Skype. We use Skype, the broadcast quality Skype, and also a call-in manager for people who call in, video call in. We can kind of vet the people who are calling in and line them up so that when the host is ready to take callers, they're ready to join the show. So, it's using technology to bring people together for the purpose of raising consciousness. Very much like OMTimes.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, so what kind of programming do you see? Because now you started with the 3. Your hard launch is happening very soon, and you did say it's on demand. So when you say on demand, do people pay a subscription to watch TV, to participate in these calls? Is it free to those that are viewers?
It's free all around. It's free for the viewers. All the shows are free to watch, and every show is live. And so, which is what gives people an opportunity to video call in and be a part of the conversation. But they're automatically recorded, and then they're online on our website on demand, so people can see any show that's ever been on the network. They can see it at their convenience. And we don't have subscription. We don't intend to do that. We really want this to be no barriers to people engaging in these important conversations. And we anticipate a real variety of shows. We know some of them are going to be funny. Some of them are going to be poignant. Some of them will be along the metaphysical with the astrology and the energy healers and the coaches. But also we have scientists who are interested, anyone who brings energy, creativity, and possibility to their life and work, and who have a professional presence on the internet, and have the integrity that we expect, that we know OMTimes requires as well. Those are people we would consider to be hosts on our network.
So, when you said scientists, you just recently had Amit Goswami on, right?
Yes. Amit Goswami, one of my heroes. And we had Dean Slider, who is a meditation expert, and we have a dream expert coming on this week. And my show is always has guests, like yours does. I always have guests, and many of them are authors as well. So I know what you mean about we're doing a lot of reading, are we not, Sylvia?
Yeah, at least a book a week, I tell you. It's a good thing I love books.
I have 3 shows a week, so I'm reading 3 books a week. but I'm loving it. Yeah, my show is Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go right ahead. Your show's when?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific. And Mary Lee's show is on Wednesday at noon, and Mary Ann's show is every other Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So we will be expanding the hours and number of shows soon. And yeah, but as you say, we have scientists and psychologists and physicians. We have a physician coming on the show in a few weeks too, who does craniosacral, and just people who are willing to explore beyond the traditional bounds of their profession.
I love it. And you know, the more lives we can touch with this information, the better, because people are waking up like popcorn, really, and they are hungry right now. They really are. It's like nothing I've ever seen before, and it's not like I've seen it all, but you know, I'm 50-something years old, close to 60 now, and I have to say that that people are so open, people that you would not even think, the uber professional looking individual, you wouldn't know that they're practicing law of attraction, and they're actually doing angel prayers at night, and checking in on their astrology or going into meditation classes, or so it's really lovely to see how all these beautiful lights are popping their eyes open and awakening to really expanding beyond the borders of what is traditionally out there spiritually. Not that there's anything wrong with what's out there.
No, that's right. Tradition is okay too. But what I do love about your show and the other shows on OMTimes, and what we'll be doing with ShareWisdom.tv, is letting the world see how many others are in this open space of consciousness raising. And the more we talk, the more we see each other, the more we realize, oh my gosh, you too? Then we realize, oh, we are really connected in another level that we had not realized.
Yeah, not only that are we connected, but our numbers are growing exponentially, which is another beautiful thing. Yeah, in spite of what the media wants you to think, that it's all going to hell in a hidden basket. There are enough of us that are carriers of light and carriers of love and of compassion that are really linking arms and coming together to raise the vibration, to heal and forgive, to release the old trauma, to enlighten their thinking and consciousness. Well, Sher, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been an absolute delight. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your Wisdom Week.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
You're so welcome. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. I'll be back again next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and know that you are loved. And give yourself some compassion today. You deserve it. You're so much more than ever. You're a brilliant being of light.